Welcome back to the Last Word podcast. As always, I'm Jay.
And I'm Rabbit.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Before we get started, just like always, reminder to like, comment, subscribe. We see it. We appreciate it. Please continue to do so.
Yeah,
Share.
Click everything. Click those hearts, those check marks.
Yep.
Those retweet buttons. I don't know
Whatever
what the fuck
they are.
Do it all.
Yes.
Because we will see it.
We see it, we appreciate it, and it helps us out a lot. Also, I am streaming Last Word. It's twitch.tv/lastwordlive, so go check that out, follow, do all that stuff.
Yeah, he plays video games online. It's like that meme where once a guy turns 30, he has to pick a subclass.
Yeah.
What is it? It's a podcaster, streamer.
I don't know what the other one is.
I don't remember what the other one is, but he definitely picked a couple.
Yeah.
Once he turned 30.
It's just, I guess, the natural state of being a 30-year-old millennial. Man.
What do women have to pick when they turn 30?
I don't know. Like, what would... I think streamer still works for a woman, but then also, like, beauty vlogger or something like that. Instagram, like makeup, something.
Yeah.
Like something like that, or like a crafter or something like DIY.
My God. I picked like all three of them even before. I'm not even 30 yet, and I've already
stuff like that. Yeah, or like just in general, like a blog, like a self-help blog or like inspiration blog. That would be
that's definitely me. This will also probably be a very caffeinated podcast because
For you, at least?
I did not sleep very well last night, so I really loaded up on the caffeine this morning.
I drank coffee, but I only drank a little bit because last time I had a lot of caffeine on the podcast, I went insane.
Yeah, I edited that podcast. It was crazy.
I had fun, but yeah. And then, of course, questions, comments, concerns, business inquiries, lastwordapparel@gmail.com. So we're back into it. Skipped a week, which I think is going to be the norm schedule for this quarantine type season, I guess you can call it.
I mean, there's just not too much going on.
Well, we talked about it already, and we mentioned why already. It's just, there's not a lot going on. And
I mean, because we could sit here for like an hour or so and comment of all the birds that fly by our window.
Yeah, it would just be boring. There's
the dust that collects on our porch.
Yeah,
we could definitely talk about these things.
Yeah, how the paint is chipping, in certain areas of the place, on the walls.
The weird things that our dog does.
We saw a bug. Saw 2 flies today. That's interesting.
Oof. Yep.
So anyway, we can
comment on all of this, and if that is interesting to some of you, you can let us know. But there just isn't too much to record every
If you want us to, we will. If somehow that's interesting, we will. But yes, there's just not a lot to comment on or talk about, and this time every week, it's just not a lot going on.
Yeah.
And so it's probably just going to be every other week. So
but we do have some interesting subjects today, and that's why we're recording.
Yeah. We might not be able to do it every week just because there's nothing going on, but every other week we can think of something at least.
We still have some subjects and some things to go over, some updates, some very interesting updates.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So here we are. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing fine. I'm pretty much probably the same as I was last time we were here,
Yeah.
I'm forever the rock, the unchanging, boulder.
Oh yeah, and I am constantly changing. Every day it could be a little different.
Yep. And so I'm doing well though. I'm doing pretty good. I have no complaints whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good too. Every week or so it seems to be a different kind of ailment that gets me, but I think it's mostly just, stress, just normal stuff kind of going on. A couple weeks ago I was sleeping a lot. I was taking naps like every day for like 2 weeks. And lately now it's been like headaches and migraines.
Yeah.
Just randomly.
Yeah, it's definitely just, I feel like just the stress of everything. It takes its toll, whether people think it's direct or not. It definitely takes its toll.
Yeah.
And, which we probably talked about already. So, but other than that, you're doing okay, right?
Yeah. I mean, generally overall, I'm doing great. working on a few things, have some art projects in the works.
Really?
Yeah. Gonna start painting. Writing it's still been going slow. I've been working on it just about every other day for like a couple of weeks now, and I am getting somewhere. It is a lot slower, but I feel like that's just with the time and what has happened. I lost motivation there, which again I think is pretty normal. I'm starting to get it back, and I'm still working on it. I want to finish this project.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see it through, and if, you know, I don't finish it in a year, that's fine. I will, you know, keep going on it. But yeah, I mean, that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. I've been just doing the same as I was probably last time we did this. I've been streaming, you know, like we mentioned,
Yep.
and that's been fun. And other than that, just been doing random little things and just enjoying it.
Yeah.
Nothing
I mean, you
crazy.
always wanted to stream. You wanted to start streaming video games and stuff. I want to say, like, what, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
We saved up to buy the microphone. We finally bought it, and then it sat in the box for a long time.
Yeah, the original reason we got the microphone was not for a podcast. It was for me to stream. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I was just waiting. You know, I wanted to get everything together so I was able to stream. So, but then it got to the point where I was like, fuck it, let's do a podcast. We have the microphone. What are we doing? Let's just do something.
I had bought a new computer at that point.
Yeah, and then it got to the point where I'm like, fuck it. Now I have the time and I have pretty much everything ready. It may not all be perfect, but I'm going to start streaming.
Well, there's some trial and error with it, just like there is with podcasting. Mm-hmm. I mean, we had to record, 2 podcasts to get it.
Yeah, and even then we still fuck up.
Oh yeah.
So
our audio sometimes is
it
really
changes
bad.
drastically. Like,
and
sometimes.
Because you use this microphone for both streaming and podcasting, sometimes the settings get messed up.
Yeah.
We're sorry about that.
But that's streaming, baby. You know what I'm saying? And whatever, it's fine. I don't know. I don't hold it against us in any sort of way.
No, and I don't think our listeners do either. Our 5 listeners.
Right. Thank you to you 5. Yeah, and that was the original reason why we had this whole setup anyway. But then we started doing a podcast before I started streaming. Mm-hmm. But now that I've had the time and pretty much everything ready, then I was like, fuck it, I'm going to start streaming. So that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, it's been cool. And I haven't watched it because, like I said, when you stream, I either take time for myself or I work on my book.
Yeah, which is good.
Right. So we kind of trade off. We get to do our own thing. And that's kind of been something that's actually worked, because usually the days that I get my writing in before this all started was when you went to work.
Yeah.
And usually when you went to work for a short period of time, so I could really get in that headspace and really live in that moment to write.
Do you feel like at this point you still need to write more, or more time to write or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm kind of weird, and you've mentioned this, that if I ever want to take time to do those things, like write and paint, and I can just do it. But I'm this really weird artist and writer where I almost need complete solitude to be able to do it, to get into the zone. And now with you home, no offense, I love having you, it kind of switches me over. I get weird about it. Knowing that you're just in the next room with it, I no, once you're done, I want to spend time with you. I want to eat lunch and all that stuff.
I mean, that makes sense for when I had days off and I worked. At this point, I've been here for a month.
It's been a little more than
I feel like it's okay.
Yeah, and that's why that's why I said the 2 hours that you stream every other day are the days that then I take.
It could be even more than 2 hours if it needed.
And it can be, and what we're
it's you're gonna see me. You're gonna see me.
Yeah, there's a good chance.
Here.
There's a good chance that I'll probably see you for another month or so.
And I've been here also, so
yes,
it's
you have.
It's okay.
Oh yes, I know. But no, it's just I am definitely one of those people. I'm one of those artists. I'm one of those writers. I need solitude. I need solitude and charged Bluetooth headphones, noise canceling headphones, to be able to get into that mode where I can work on whatever I'm working on. I would love to have a studio to be able to do that in, or my own little office and stuff where I can shut out the world. Just because I feel like I'm a very distracted person. If there is another humanly presence, besides maybe like Chief, I get distracted really easy.
I mean, technically, you do have the office. You could go in there and shut the door.
It's not the same because I know you're out. I know you're just in the next room.
Wow.
I know. I'm weird. I'm a weird. We have
strange.
established that I am a weird person. I'm a very odd person. I know this. The caffeine is starting to hit me more. Just an update. But no, I mean, it is good to take those couple of hours while you're streaming or when you're doing your own thing to keep doing mine. And that, you know, for now, like, that's fine. And yeah, like, I think even today we're gonna, when we're done with this podcast, then I am going to take some time for myself and I am going to go in the office and I'm going to paint and then, you know, for an hour or so or however long, and you're going to do your thing. So we are kind of switching over, and I'm going to start trying to do more even when you're here. You know? So it's not like strictly like I absolutely have to be alone to get any work done or do anything. That's just how I like to. Right. That's when it really gets me, that feeling like, oh my God, I'm on a roll. I'm in the zone. I am here.
Right.
Like this is everything right now.
Right. Interesting.
And I usually get my best work done when I feel like that.
That's very interesting. I work kind of completely different than that. I don't need solitude or anything like that. I don't know. And a lot of times in my mind state, when I'm working on, or I have a thought or something I want to do, an idea of something, whatever it is, inspiration or otherwise, like it's just like, it's a weird like just get it done, like mentality. Where I'm like, just do it. Just bust it out. Like, do whatever you need to do and get it fucking done. Like, and it's weird. Yeah. But it's a more like, where, as opposed to where, like, I could just, like, sit and just feel it and enjoy it, or, like let it flow how it should. It's, like, more rigid, where it's like, this is what I'm going to do. Boom, 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 boom. And then it's done. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Which can be good. But sometimes, like, if I would just allow myself to, like, whatever happens, I really can't. Because it's like, I'm going to get this done. You know what I mean?
Well, and that makes sense for, you know, how you operate and for how, you know, you do things and how you want to do things. For me, I mean, painting specifically is a very, like, second nature, like, emotional thing for me. It's not a technical thing. And I know you love and you have your own passion for what you're doing, and, you know, you're streaming and podcasting and editing and, you know, picture editing and stuff like that, or, you know, your graphic design. But this is, like, that's just how mine works.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
It's a very, like other, maybe not otherworldly, maybe that makes me sound weird. But it's just a different feeling for me than just technical. For me, art can't be technical. You know, and there's some things like, you know, if I'm trying to put down a sketch, or I'm gathering supplies for it, or if, you know, I have to prepare a bunch of things before. Now, that is technical, and that I can do just whenever you're here, you're not here, there's a bunch of people here, I can get that all done. But the actual, like, in the zone painting is very different for me. It's a very emotional based thing and feeling. Yeah.
I think for me, like, that would be something I would like to get more in touch with and in tune. But, like, at this point, if I couldn't just paint, like, I couldn't just stand there and have an empty canvas and, like, I wouldn't, like, I had to have some sort of set plan of what I was gonna do. I couldn't just I could, but it would take me a lot to, like, actually just start painting or, like, feel it or whatever. You know what
I have this very love-hate thing for blank canvases because I love looking at it, and I kind of felt that yesterday when I went and looking for my empty canvases, because of course, like, I have a whole bunch just waiting, and I remember looking at it and I was like, oh, I can't wait to do all kinds of dirty things to you. Wow. No, not like that. See, again, the caffeine. But also when I was looking at it, I was like, oh God, this is so ugly. Like, I need to do something to this. So it goes both ways for me. Like, I look at it and I get excited. I can't wait to paint on it. I can't wait to put a bunch of color on this and do crazy things with it. But I also look at it and I'm just like, ugh, like, yeah, you need something on it. It bothers me that you're blank.
Right.
And then it's like, but what do I do? What do I do?
Right. Yeah, I would have to have some sort of idea in mind already and in some way kind of mapped out as to what I was going to do. I couldn't just stand there and just paint. It would be hard to do.
Well, and I mean, I always have visions, or sometimes, I'll print out motivation or inspiration for it. But, once I get like a very, very simple sketch, because I can't draw at all, like not even a little bit. Like I can't draw.
Right.
I just can't. So I'll put down a very, very simple sketch. But once I get that sketch done, then I can just go. Right. Then I can just paint, and I can paint at will, and yeah, I can just do it.
Cool. I mean, that's nice. So I don't know if you know this, but coronavirus is still happening.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It is out there.
A surprise to you.
In our town.
Because it seems like it's a surprise to most people.
It has affected our friends.
Mm-hmm. Close friends.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, a friend we haven't seen in like 5 years, but
close. Close in the sense that like we know them well and that we've spent a lot of meaningful moments together.
We have.
Yeah. But we haven't recently because we don't live in the same state. But yeah. With that being said, yeah, it's still happening.
It is. It's still a thing. And
still a thing.
I really started accepting and coming to terms with it. There was like at least like the first 3 weeks, I woke up in denial. Mm-hmm. And then it would be like anxiety, kind of chaotic, and I think that's why like I was getting so tired and not feeling well and all that stuff. And then eventually, I think a month and a half went by, and I finally was like, okay, this is my new reality. This is the life that we live. We have to wear masks every time we go to the store. We have to make a plan when we go. We have to go in, get out, and go home. Wipe down our groceries, spray our shoes with disinfectant, and do all that kind of stuff. And this is our new reality. And I finally started kind of accepting that this is the way it might be for a while. Mm-hmm. But when we're inside for at least a week and a half until you go out and get groceries, or we both go out, that's the time that I remember. Like, oh yeah, that's right. This is still happening and still might happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean... It's still going on. I don't know. I don't want to spend too much time talking about like the fact that it's still happening and all that because we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
What I thought would be interesting now, especially because I mean, we still probably have another month of this. As of this point, we still probably have until probably June of this happening.
It's very possible.
But that's not too much longer. Given everything else, and it could even be longer than that. But I think we're gonna be near the end at some point, and so with that, the question has been passed around a lot. Like, what do you think this will change anything, like in society or with people or yourself, and what do you think it'll change?
Well, it's kind of crazy because I actually talked about this with my therapist. Because I'm still, and it's still so weird. And, every time her and I get on, it's just like, it's kind of a moment of shock. It's like, oh God, you're on my computer. Like, you're in your home, probably like in your dining room or something. I'm in my dining room. Mm-hmm. And it's so weird. And we get on, and, I remember one of the last therapy sessions I had with her, we had a little trouble with the audio. She was delayed a little bit, and I was telling her that, and she was just like, oh yeah, it's just the new normal.
Right.
This is stuff that we have to do. And so I think that would actually be one thing that I would like to see more. I would definitely like to see more of, and I would like to see it, may become a regular thing. But some of these other technologies being available to people.
Yeah.
Video chat therapy, which has, been really great for us because, I can sit on my dining room and have therapy, and it doesn't take as much out of my day as it used to. Yeah. Before, we would have to go there. You would have to take me. You'd have to drop me off and wait there for an hour. And then it's like, well, what do you do? Mm-hmm. And then we have to, I get out of therapy. We leave. We, come home. Yeah. It's just like... it was like just kind of so much like commuting just to go to therapy, and now it's like I turn on my computer, I log on to her website, and I'm there. I just sit there for like 5 minutes or like just a few minutes, and then she pops up, and then we have our therapy, and then we log off, and that's it.
Yeah, I think that's one big thing that has happened for everyone. Though it's taken probably a lot of people like having to learn this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But like with schools and doctor's appointments, specifically like therapy and stuff like that, like why wouldn't that change some things? Like there's something important about person to person. But I feel like with some of this, it can be substituted with like a digital commute, you know what I mean, or like like something like that, like
I think it's possible.
Online, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think it's possible. You know, I know there are some things that we can't completely go digital on, just because like I think Dr. Drew talked about it at one point where, you know, Skype calls and video chatting won't and shouldn't really replace, I forgot what he called it, what physical medicine or in
and
person.
I agree with that, because there's a lot that you can't get through a webcam and stuff like that. Like there's a moment, whether it's a therapist or an MD or whatever, like where you need that, I don't know how to explain it, but that empathy between two humans, that connection between two human beings, to understand more.
Yeah.
And when he was talking about it, it was like automation, like for a doctor. So if like somehow a robot could do a doctor's job, and it's like, yeah, you could memorize all the medical terms and what leads to what and stuff like that, but nothing really replaces like human connection.
Yeah.
So, but that would be, that does come to another point where it's like some things don't need that to function. So like with automation, will that be the next step in a lot of other companies?
Yeah.
Like, right now we have food plants closing, like meat stuff and like, delivery stuff and like all that stuff. Is this going to continue but kind of further the push of like jobs like that becoming automated to where it's robots and stuff like that just essentially take the place? And that's kind of crazy to think, and I don't know how bad that is or how good that would be for things. I don't know. I really don't know, but it's just like for like a factory, any type of processing or like delivery, anything, how would a robot not be better? Like a robot won't make mistakes, a robot won't get tired, won't get sick, like any of that stuff, won't demand wages or
like you took it in a really weird
hours,
thing that I wasn't even
or
like
more hours.
I wasn't even I wasn't even thinking about it at this point. But that's kind of crazy to think too. It's like, what is the next step?
I think it's a valid question because it's happening right now. Places are shutting down because they don't have workers, which is what they should do. But like for places that can afford it and that kind of were already doing that, what's going to happen when they push forward automation where robots can do certain jobs that people could do? And it's interesting. And again, it's like, I don't know if that's good or bad. I have no idea.
I think it's definitely scary to think about, because then you have to think about the people that in the future could possibly lose jobs and not have jobs.
Right. Yeah.
If you have a bunch of robots working for you. That took a weird turn. I didn't know that's where you were going to take it.
I didn't know I was going to take it there either, but you mentioned, I didn't know I was going to take it there either. I'm just going with the flow. But you mentioned, back and forth, like, digital stuff like that. But then you also mentioned that, like, it couldn't take place of, like, a human doctor, which we talked about. And then I was like, well, what if there are some jobs that a robot could take place of?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
then, so that's how we got there.
Certainly, I'm sure.
I don't know.
But more so what I was talking about, just that, I think for certain things, like, maybe therapy, maybe, simple ailments can be done in this way. I think, video chatting therapy sessions. It's like, because some of it, there are some therapy treatments that can't be done like that, but talk therapy is just that. It's talk therapy. Right. It can be done in a phone call. It can be done in video chatting. So I think some of those things might become more accessible to people when they weren't before. I also think and I hope that more jobs will become accessible for people who want to work from home.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
When before, many companies always said, it's like, nah, we can't do that. That's not possible. We're never going to do that. And then overnight they had to change that and be like, okay, we're sending everyone home who can now work from home. So, I hope and I want to see more of those jobs become accessible to people and more people can work from home.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I hope kind of sticks around and, changes us. And
yeah, and also the hope that like jobs that were looked down upon and like seen as whatever shitty jobs or whatever it was, like, are now essential jobs, quote unquote essential, and like they're really helping run this fucking country.
Yeah.
Like, I hope that's held to a higher esteem and respect, and that those workers get better pay and like insurance and shit like that, because motherfucker, you acted like you didn't need us before, but now look at you.
Now you desperately need us.
So like, I don't know, like shit like that. I hope that stuff changes as far as society goes.
Yeah, I want to see our grocery workers and people who stock groceries and cashiers and all these people, I want them to get better wages. My mom is one of these people. That's what she does. And she's raising 3 kids on, government assistance and income because she can't afford to raise 3 children.
Right.
Who, one of them, in fact, 2 of them are kind of special needs. My oldest nephew has autism and he needs a lot of programs and a lot of medication that he couldn't get otherwise.
Yep.
So I would love to see that, and I would love to see that become the norm, because for so long they look down on restaurant workers and waitresses and waiters, cashiers, and I kind of like look and I'm like, you couldn't do that job.
Right.
You may be whatever the fuck, but you're not doing that job, and someone does have to do it. Someone does have to, check you out and do all this and wait on you when you go to a restaurant and serve your food and make your food.
Yep.
The least we could do is give them a living wage.
Yeah.
So I hope some of that stuff starts changing over.
I do too. And also a newfound respect for, nurses and medical doctors and all those people right now who are on the front lines of that stuff.
Yeah.
Right now, like, and whatever, intensive care nurses, all that stuff, like, because recently, I mean, it's kind of always happened, but recently we've been in an age, I think, perpetuated by social media and stuff, of like where like science and medicine and facts don't matter. And God. That's insane. And people,
did we talk about the protesting?
No, we're
last
not going
week?
to. We're not going to.
Okay.
We're not
no,
going to.
I think we did a little bit, but
I don't. Whether we did or not, we're not going to. Like, it's just too frustrating, and we're thinking of changes we want to see. We're not going to focus on the negative. We're going to try and focus on the positive. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I hope there's a newfound respect for these people, because that shit matters. And whether you believe in it or not, like, they're risking their lives right now.
Yeah.
Trying to save lives. And that should be respected, and that should be held to a higher esteem and appreciated.
Yeah. I would love to see that too.
So do you think as a whole society will change after this? Do you think we'll become more caring and more conscious of like more appreciative, more grateful to like be outside and to go places, and like, do you think that'll change, or will we just forget and just be shitty?
Well, you and I might not.
I'm asking society.
Right. Because, well, okay, well, I mean, I'll go through both. But you and I will not, of course not.
Right.
You, I, our friends, some family members and things like that. No, I don't think we'll ever forget. And we'll always be that much more appreciative and grateful for the people who do these jobs. But I think as a society, as much as we're, saying we're thankful now and like, oh my gosh, I wish this would become everyday life even after this ends. I wish I could go to school at home and work from home and do all this stuff. And I think it's gonna, I think some things might stick around for a little bit longer. Maybe we'll have, a few changes, but unfortunately as a whole, as a society, as, how this country is ran, no, I don't think a lot of these changes will stick around permanently.
Yeah, I hate to agree with that, but I do agree. I would like to see things change and people become more grateful and appreciative and just all those things, that everyone took for granted, not anymore. And all those people that they look down upon, they don't anymore. And just to be more conscious and to be more thoughtful. And maybe that it'll be the case for a little bit, but I think eventually people just forget and they'll just be shitty all over again.
I mean, which is unfortunately just what happens after something crazy. There's a lot of hype, there's a lot of coverage. Everyone is like, be kind, be nice, be thoughtful, be, caring. And that's great for a few weeks, and then that dies down too.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think the important thing here is that we're not going to forget.
No. I mean, any conscious, thoughtful, decent human being will take all of this to heart and not forget any of this.
Yeah.
So that's something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my mom has experienced it too, where there was one day she had a really rude girl. Like, it was kind of funny talking to my mom about this, because she was like, Rachel was a girl your age. And I was just like, Mom, really? How do you know that? How do you know she was my age? And she was like, she looked like it. And I was just like, how old do I look? And for all we know, this girl could have been like 18 years old.
Yeah.
My mom, or like 35, and my mom just can't tell how old people are.
Mm-hmm.
But this girl came into her work and was asking for cigarettes, and she threw up her ID in my mom's face, like inside the wallet, and was like, you can look, but you can't touch it. Like, don't touch it. Don't you dare touch my ID. And my mom was just like, this girl was so rude, and I wanted to deny her sale, and like, why can't she just be nice? Why can't she just be kind? And whatever, like, my mom got through it and it was okay. And even her manager, or someone came up to her later, a coworker, and told her, like, God, she was rude.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom has also had many people come up to her and just tell her, thank you. I know this is your job. I know you have to be here and you have to do this. But I just want to thank you for doing it, because you allow me to come in here, grab a few things, and be able to go home.
Yeah.
And just thank you for doing your job. Thank you for being here.
Right.
And my mom said that she was so grateful that all of these people who have come up to her and just said thank you make up for that one rude customer. So there are people out there who are being kind and caring.
Yeah.
I definitely hope that those kind of things stick around after this.
I do too. Well, like I said, any conscious, thoughtful, decent human being, they're going to take this to heart and they're going to be that person, but then of course they kind of always were that person.
Yeah.
I don't know if this will change anyone.
Yeah, like you and me.
Mm-hmm. With that though, personally, like, what are you going to think after this? What are you gonna do after this? What do you want to do after this?
Shit.
Like, what are goals? But then also, like, how is this gonna affect you? How is this gonna change things? Is it going to change anything?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes me appreciate life a lot more. Personally, I definitely want to go to Wisconsin, and I want to see my family and be with my family, because obviously, like, we didn't have the money to send me this year, which is something we try to do every year just to get me there so I can see my family. And of course, one of those years that we sent, or we sent you, I make myself like a package or something, that I go to Wisconsin was the last time I saw my grandpa.
Yeah.
And, you know, I had that interaction with him where he actually apologized to me for making a comment about something I was wearing. But I would like to go to Wisconsin, spend time with my family. I want to go to Silver City to see your family. I want to plan something, not crazy, but I want to plan something awesome for us and your friends to do.
Yeah.
Like, I am definitely thinking, like, make some crazy dinner and, like, watch movies and drink. Because that sounds amazing. And I want to have a big family get-together, like, with your family.
Yeah.
I want to finally go see our fucking friends that live in Arizona. Like, that is something that I would love to do and that we need to just do. Like, drop Chief off in Silver City and then just keep going.
Yeah.
You know, so those are personal things that I want to do. And I don't want to take, you know, any more for granted than I already have, because we know that it doesn't have to be a pandemic. It doesn't have to be a virus. That life is kind of crazy and can change. Just when you think that that's not gonna happen, that's not a thing, it does.
Yep.
And it could be tomorrow.
Yep.
It could be tonight. And you know, so I don't want to take any more for granted. And
Yep.
those are personal things I want to do.
Absolutely.
I want to finish my book. Hopefully, you know, and I want to finish my art portfolio. Those are personal goals, because some of those things I do need to be in the outside world to get and to do.
Yeah.
Like my found objects, which is, you know, I've been collecting things for it, and I've been collecting objects for my found objects project. But I also need to find someone that can build me a giant, basically, shadow box. I need a place to work on it. I need a place to do it. So it's like all of those things I have to go out into the world to do, and I can't do that right now.
Right.
So finishing my art portfolio is another personal goal of mine. I don't really know what else. Because all I'm thinking about is, friends and family and art.
Yeah, I agree with all of that, honestly. That's pretty much where my brain goes, too. First things first, it's like, I want to go see my family in Silver City. I want to see my grandma. Yeah, I want to see her because it's been a while.
It's been a long time.
And hopefully she still remembers me, but we'll see. But either way, I want to see her. And then, I want to see my mom and my dad, of course, and take Chief there because he appreciates it so much.
Oh, he loves your parents so much.
And then go to Silver City and see my friends. You see our friends. And, like you said, just hang out, whatever, crazy dinner, drinking, movies, whatever we do. I just want to see them.
Yep.
I miss them, and I love them, and I want to see them. And so that's priority. And then, of course, get you to Wisconsin, because that's what you want to do, so that would be good. And it's been a while since you've been there, and
it's been a long time.
With all this bullshit happening, it really emphasizes that, because like you said, with or without a pandemic and quarantine and all this shit happening, life is unpredictable, and it's quick, and it changes fucking day by day, hour by hour. It changes.
Yep.
And you think you know what's gonna happen, and then you don't. You know, it changes that quickly. So nothing is certain and promised, and so you should take advantage of what you have while you have it.
Yeah.
So even more so now. And then personally, I definitely am gonna be more appreciative of like going out, like things that used to be so tedious and annoying before are going to be things like I look on and like, this maybe is annoying, like this crowd at Walmart, but at least there's a crowd at Walmart.
At least we can be safe in a crowd at Walmart.
Yeah, at least I don't have to worry about dying or killing someone else.
Or wearing a mask.
Wearing a mask or whatever it is. Like, I'm happy to be out here right now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to appreciate that a lot.
Yeah. I want to spend more time in society when I normally wouldn't.
Yeah. And just, yeah.
A little more outgoing. I don't know if that can be counted in this or be along the same line. I'm going to be a little bit more outgoing. I mean, my anxiety is at a really low, which is great because I feel like I could do it. And actually, I can't wait to tell my therapist about this. I went into a store by myself.
You did?
When we went grocery shopping. We were so tired. We had went out so late, and we had to go to Walmart. We had to go grab things, and it took a long time, longer than we thought. We were so tired, and then we were hungry because we hadn't eaten dinner yet. And I was like, okay, well, I want tea, but only this one store sells that kind of tea, so I have to be the one to run in and get it. Yeah. And I was just like, I'm going to do it. Like, all right, I'm going to run in the store. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to pay for it. And then I'm going to get out of there. And, you know, at the end of it, you were like, okay, I'll just run in. Like, it's fine. I'm like, no, fuck no. Let me do it.
Yeah.
Like, let me do it, dude. And I fucking did.
Yeah.
That I don't think I've ever done that.
Run into a store by yourself and gotten something?
Yeah.
No, I don't. No, I don't think you have, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, when I think about it.
In the whole relationship, I don't think I've ever just been able to be dropped off somewhere and then brought back.
Yeah. That's insane.
Or not brought back.
Like, and obviously it's so simple to a lot of people.
Some people might think it's like, what? Like, I do that every day. Like, that's my life. But for me, 6 months ago, a year ago, that wasn't my life. Yeah. I couldn't do that. Yeah. The idea of doing that was panic-inducing. So I want to be more outgoing. I want to do more shit like that.
Yeah, that's good. I like the sound of that. Yeah, I'm just, back to what I was saying. Is just like, I'm just going to appreciate things more. And things that were, like, really taken for granted. Just underappreciated. I'll just give up on that word. I'm going to appreciate more. Because, like, having food.
Yeah, I'm going to appreciate you going to work some more. We can't talk about it yet, but there's something happened with your company that you work for.
Spoiler alert, I may not have a job.
Technically,
I don't have a job anymore.
Yeah. It was an accident. It was an error in their system. And like I said, we can't really talk much more about it, but technically speaking, he was laid off.
Yes.
So again,
spoiler alert, I don't have a job right now.
Yeah, you are unemployed.
But anyway.
But I am going to be very thankful for us, for you to find a job, and then once this is all over, me being able to get a job. And I guess that's one thing too along the same lines. I want to get back on track for getting my license. Now, I had set a goal that at the end of April, I have at least taken not my learner's permit. I have taken the written test, and I had started studying for that and set the goal of April. But because of all this stuff, the DMV closed, and you can call and make appointments, but it's just like, I think for the most part, most services are closed down. Mm-hmm. So it's like you can't just go in and take a written test anymore like you used to be able to. And so I wasn't able to complete that goal. I have to wait until this is over and the DMV opens up again. But that also means, of course, that I wasn't able to get in and take my written test. So I want to do that. I want to get my fucking license already.
Nice. I think we all have good goals, and if not goals, we all have just things that will change for us and things we want to do, and I think those are all good. And I think they're important, and I think everyone should have them, because obviously nothing is promised. So,
no,
you should all have them. You should all have things you want to do and things you're going to do. Definitely.
Yep.
And I'll be happy whenever that day comes.
Me too. Hopefully another month, but there's also, people are really concerned about, a second wave coming. Mm-hmm. And it's very true with a lot of these states wanting to open up so quickly, even if they do it in stages. It's like, do they not know how a virus works?
Yeah.
It's like, that's exactly what we shouldn't do. And I think a lot of it is because they see the numbers improving, they see people getting better and being recovered, and you know, it's like, but that's how it works.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's improving because everyone's staying home.
Yeah.
It's improving because everything is closed.
Yeah.
That's why it's improving. The moment you start opening again, the moment you start going out again, it can get worse.
Yeah.
The only reason why it doesn't seem as bad as it could be is because everyone is staying home. So it's pretty stupid that people are like, oh, it's fine, obviously. It's like, no, it's fine because you're staying home.
Yeah.
So stay fucking home. Stay close.
Continue to stay home for what, another month and a half? Like, if people had, well, and it was up to their state and their governor and our president to do that from the beginning, but if that had been the plan, if they had planned for this, it could have been a lot less tragic and it could have been over a lot sooner.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. People don't listen, and there's always going to be people who don't listen.
Children.
But those
grown children.
But those numbers would be a lot lower now if everyone had gotten on the same page and been like, okay, we can stay in our house for a month or two.
They need to continue to be low, so opening and going out still isn't an option. And that needs to be emphasized.
Yeah.
Stay home.
And New Mexico has done a great job, I feel like.
Stay home.
New Mexico's numbers are still very low, and they're not getting higher. You know, they're not they're not tripling. We're doing good here, but other states are already, some of the worst hit states are already looking at opening up. Yeah. Some of them already have. I think Wisconsin started yesterday.
Stupid.
Yeah.
It's just gonna get worse because that's what's happening. Stay home. It's that simple.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. So it has been a while since we've had an update. With relationships.
Relationship update.
It's definitely been a while since I've given any sort of update as far as relationship stuff goes. Mostly because there wasn't anything to update, but I feel like I can now. And then it's just been a while for you, though you do it more regularly.
Yeah, I do it about at least once a month. So much for like, oh, we're never going to talk about this subject again. This is over. That is
interesting.
Not the truth.
I think it's interesting. It's juicy. People want the juice.
They do. I'm not going to give them too much information, but there is some updates, and there's been a lot of acceptance and a lot of good things coming out of this.
Yeah, so what's going on with you? What's going on with Rabbit as far as relationship stuff goes?
Well, I mean, I came to a point where, you know, we had been on the site that we were going to play D&D online, and I remember that was the same website that we played online with my ex. Mm-hmm. And for some reason it hit me a little differently because I had seen him on there, and, you know, months and months ago when I last checked, he hadn't played at all. And I started to see that he had played a lot more. Which was kind of good. I was kind of happy that, well, hey, he's social distancing. He's staying home. That's good. But then I just got really sad because, you know, I begged him so many times to play D&D with me. Something that him and I connected with. That's how we met. That's why we got friendly so quickly, is because D&D brought us together. So it was really sad, but, you know, something just kind of finally, like, clicked after that. Something made sense, and I was able to come to acceptance a lot more. So when you and I talked about it, I was very emotional and stuff like that. But when you and I finally talked about it, we decided to delete our old campaign. Yeah. Which also continued just to, like, bring that feeling on. Bring that feeling back of just, like, yeah, you know, I can do without this stuff. So as we continued to talk about it, I continued to feel and deal with it. I was just like, you know, I need to get rid of, and it was an idea you had, or you told me that I needed to do, that I needed to start getting rid of the stuff that Kenneth gave me. And that, you know, the jewelry and the letters and the pictures, and I needed to finally get rid of them. Mm-hmm. And now this is a subject, this is something that nobody could have touched with me before, because I would have, you know, been very hostile about it and very angry and very hurt. Like, no, how dare you? But finally I was like, no, like, you guys are right. You're right. Like, I need to I need to get rid of this stuff because it's not helping me. It's keeping me in the same place. And I think now it is finally time to let go. And so I decided to come up with an end goal, an end date, a literal date that I need to have these things gone by. And we decided July 1st because that will literally make it a year since Kenneth and I first broke up. And that I can delete things and get rid of things in this time period. So from now until then. But on July 1st, if I have not gotten rid of everything or if I still have some lingering things around, we're going to kind of ritualistically burn them or get rid of them in our own way, or my own way. And that was just like this huge revelation that, I don't know, never occurred to me. It never crossed my mind, and it never would have. It would have been painful and hurtful to think. And now I'm like, no, I feel so free and empowered. And that was one thing that, has kind of came up in this. I feel like so much acceptance. And when I was talking to my therapist about it, again, of course, always my therapist. And, she, at first, she was like, well, yeah, Rachel, I think you have a lot more understanding and a lot more clarity with Kenneth or about Kenneth. And, more clarity on the situation. Breakups happen in stages, and you're, like, in the final stage of it. So good job. And I was just like, well, yeah, that's kind of true, kind of. But my other part in this is like, my ex is an enigma. There is so much there, and so much there that I couldn't begin to understand, and I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to dig and get buried under all of this stuff that he has going on in his head that I will probably never understand for myself, and I don't want to. That's not my job. That shouldn't have been my job as a girlfriend.
Right.
I may never understand his head. I may never understand why he did what he did, and I don't want to. But I live here in myself. I am constantly here. I will always have my conscience. I will always be in this body. So I think it wasn't that I understand the situation, because this situation's still really complicated and really hard sometimes. And, even some things still come up, and I'm just like, fuck, what the hell was that? What happened there?
Yeah.
So I may never fully understand that, but, I think I understand and I know myself better. And I think that's why I have so much clarity. I think that's why I have so much understanding and acceptance about what happened. Not because I understand Kenneth or I'm finally like, I get why he did what he did, because I don't. I never will. But I know why I did what I did. I know why I was hurt and angry and all that stuff. But I also know why now that I'm healing and moving on and moving forward.
Yeah.
So that was another thing that kind of came up that was just like woke up with. I was just like, there it is. There's that feeling. And that's what's been going on. So I'm getting rid of the presents. I'm getting rid of the gifts, the letters, pictures. Anything that I have left from my old life with him. And I feel good about it.
That's good.
I feel like I was kind of holding on to these things in a weird hope that if I can keep these, if I can keep them safe and keep them close, that maybe he'll stay close. Maybe he'll come back. And, I have no fucking idea what's going to happen in the future, or if he will, won't, never again. I never hear his name. But he's not tethered to those items. He's not tethered to these things. And that's okay. So,
yeah, the only thing that essentially at this point, the only thing that those items would be tethering is you.
Yeah.
And if you want to be in life, in the moment, fully whole and sound, you can't keep those things you're attached to still like behind you, or pulling you back. Is that all you want to disclose as far as relationship stuff and updates
Well, since
go?
it's pretty much out there, I did meet someone. So all this stuff happened before, but then a new person, well, not a new person, because I had known him for like, we met at the beginning of March. And we chatted and we were texting and all that kind of stuff platonically for like the last like month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of realized like, oh, we're into each other. Oh, why can't we do this? And so we did, and we made it official. Now I'm not going to disclose the other part of it, but we're not really involved in a
It's not boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah, it's not a traditional relationship. It's not romantically. So,
right.
But the point is that I am no longer looking. I am taken again in a different way. Yeah, and I'm happy.
That's good. I mean, with that being said, it's still new, so you don't know which way it's gonna go. It could work out, could not. Next week, maybe it won't be the case. You know
right.
what I mean? But just
and then the week after that, we'll make another update.
Yeah. Like, so guess what? What I mentioned a couple weeks ago actually
didn't work out.
Don't worry about it. It didn't work out. Well, I mean, I'm just saying because it's so new that like there's still things that are being figured out that it may not.
We already had a couple hiccups, and I already had to like go to my best friend and like help me, like what went wrong here? Give me advice. And you know, he called Kenneth an asshole and told me not to be so afraid of of other people and to not let my doubt and fear lie to me.
I think it happens a lot in relationships. Like if someone for whatever reason hurt you bad enough, an ex hurt you bad enough, whether they lied to you directly or just whatever reason.
Yeah.
And they kind of broke a lot of trust, like that isn't just with that person. A lot of times it carries on, so that when you're trying to like be with someone new and trust someone new and love someone new, it kind of fucks that up because you keep thinking in your head that like it's you can't trust this person.
Yeah. Because
you've been hurt in a certain way before from someone, even if it's from someone else, like you keep thinking in your head like that's still gonna happen.
Yeah, and I'm definitely feeling a few of those things now. Yeah, and what what we said and what we talked about is like at some point I do need to trust someone else, and you know there is a chance that the person I'm talking to now might hurt me. There is.
Yeah.
Like that could just happen and I will have to deal with it again.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't this person, it'll be someone else.
Mm-hmm.
I do have to learn to trust again, and I do have to stop listening to the fear and doubt. And I kind of have to get back into it and use all of the tools and all the stuff I've been learning this last, 8 months, 9 months. I do have to use that stuff. Yeah. And I have to take responsibility, and I have to work at it again.
Right.
But it's been good overall. I did lose it a little bit. Like I said, I did have to go to my best friend and talk to him. But, I'm doing good with it, and I am still very happy.
That's good.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens. We'll see where it goes. I'm just excited and learning to be with a new person. Yeah. But that's my update. That's where my life is.
That's not a bad update.
What about you?
Yeah, as far as my update goes, I think last time I talked about relationship stuff, it was to the point where I was like, I am ready. Like, I realized, like, what I was doing as far as sabotaging things goes. Mm-hmm. And then, like, just fucking it up for myself because I was afraid and stuff like that. And then, like, being like, I see this, I acknowledge it, and now I'm ready to love someone and to be with someone and all that stuff. So, with that being said, I'm still not with anyone.
I am still not in a relationship.
Still not in a relationship.
Still single.
Still single. But there's just been interesting recent things that have happened that I think I want to talk about that have shown, at least for me, some sort of growth for myself personally. But yeah, it just still hasn't happened, to touch upon that. Like, I haven't tried recently at all, but like when I did try, I was trying online to like just find someone to talk to and then go from there. Yeah. Online mostly because like I feel like just in the place we're at, even though we're in kind of a bigger city, it's not big enough to have like open and minded people enough, at least that we know, that would like be interested in like trying to date someone who's polyamorous, you know, and has a wife. It's just not the case, I think, for a few different reasons, but like the city's big, but it's not that big, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And same for the people, like it's just not the case. And so there's been no one personally in my life who's been wanting to, at least, yeah, now in my life, who's been wanted to get to know me in that way, or at least no one that's told me.
Right.
So if you're out there, let me know. No, but
Yeah.
So, you know, I tried online. And the last time I put like an ad, it's not really an ad, but a thing online, like I was using Reddit, like, hey, this is me, you know, all about me, blah, 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 you know, looking for friends, people to talk to or whatever, you know, whatever I said, like just telling them about myself. The only reply I got was from a guy. And the message he sent me was, hey, would you be interested in seeing naked pictures of my wife? And
gross.
I respectfully declined. And that was it. And that was the only response I got. And so that alone kind of was like, well, I'm not doing that for a while. I'm not doing that again for a while, because that was fucking insane and stupid. And what the fuck? What the fuck?
Right? Why did that have to be the only response that you got?
I don't know. Life was telling me something, you know, at that point. So I was like, fine. But after that, and it's been, you know, I'd say a couple months since I've had someone I was talking to, like over the phone, like online, not like texting and messaging, not like actually speaking or anything like that. But I met a friend who at that point was just a friend, and I was okay with that. Main point was, I mean, like, even if I wanted something more with this person, the main thing is that she had a boyfriend. Yeah. And I was like, oh, well, you have a boyfriend anyway, so I'm not even going to go that far. Yeah. Because even if I thought you were attractive and wanted to be with you in some sort of way, romantically or anything like that, you currently right now have a boyfriend, and I am not going to cross any type of boundaries. You're just I'm going to respect that. Yeah. Respect that. And I am okay with being your friend. They were not okay with that. And what was a really good friendship for about a month, like just talking to this person, it was really cool. Just being friends, quickly turned into something else because they wanted it to turn into something else. Yeah. And I had to set my boundaries multiple times. Like, I am not going to do this. I am not going to talk about this. I'm not going to go this far. I am telling you this. And I had to do that more than once. Yep. And the last time it happened, that was the last time it happened. I was just like, no. Like, I can't continue this. Like, like, I'm sorry, but I'm not. Like, I am not willing to have you cheat on your boyfriend in any sort of capacity just because that's what you want. You know what I mean? Like, that's fucked up in a lot of ways. But also, like, what does that say about this person? Like, if they're willing to try and do this with me, then they've done this with someone else. Right. If not just online, probably in person too. It's just a possibility, and that's fucked up. And, like, I'm not going to perpetuate your self-destruction. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to play into that. You know, I'm not going to help that. And I'm not going to be another person that's just, like, allowing you to think this is okay. You know? So I set my boundaries. And that's okay. Yeah. Like, that's perfectly okay so for you. So I set my boundaries multiple times, and each time they were pushed, and, like, and I was just like, no, this isn't going to happen. And then at the last time, specifically this person I was talking to, the last time it happened, they got drunk and then thought, like, it was a good idea to do it. And I don't know what the thought process was of that. It was like, well, if I'm drunk, then that's an excuse. Like, I'm drunk, so it's okay to do this. And I was still like, no. Like, if anything, like, first of all, I would specifically not do anything because you are drunk.
Well, yeah, again, being the respectful man that you are.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to do
I'm
this
not
with you when you're
perpetuate
sober,
any
but
type of
especially
flirting
when you're
or
drunk.
more than that because you're drunk.
Yeah.
But on top of that, you still have a boyfriend. So
yeah.
So like so on both fronts, you're wrong. You know what I mean? And it was just really disappointing because, you know, in one way it's like I had a friend, which was dope.
Yeah.
Like, that was cool. You know, I have friends, but it's always great to have another friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially someone you talk to, like, pretty regularly, you know, with, like, text back, you know, and stuff like that. So it was cool, but it was just really disappointing because at the end of it, this person really only wanted one thing and wanted to break a lot of boundaries just to get that thing, and was willing to do it and not just hurt themselves, but the person they were with, and me.
Yeah.
And I was not down with that. Whole point of it, though, really, I guess, to talk about it was that, like, I was proud of myself for seeing my boundaries, setting those boundaries, and sticking to them.
Yeah, I'm proud of you for doing that, too.
Me, even 3 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, might not have done it, honestly. Might have just been okay with some more self-destruction.
Yeah.
You know, but I was not okay with it. And I didn't do it, which is great. But it's also sad because that was the closest I had, not only to just like a new friend, but to anything past a friendship, a romantic relationship. That was the closest I had. And it was someone who had a boyfriend that wanted to cheat on their boyfriend.
Yeah.
So that's been my luck with this whole thing.
Well, I mean, I haven't talked to many winners either, though.
No, and I guess, and that's the point of it. That's the point of quote-unquote dating and matching with people. Most people aren't going to be matches. It's just not going to happen. It's going to be very rare that you're going to find someone that just connects right away, you know, and it's, you know, getting to know people, especially new people, is not easy, you know, so that all comes with it. But that has been my luck since the last time I updated.
Yeah.
That has been my luck since then. And, you know, I'm not, I mean, a little jaded in some way. I'm like, well, I don't really want to do that again, you know, as far as like trying to talk to someone I met online or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not in the sense where it's like I still, even at this point, am open for love, for a relationship, to love someone. And I now have proof that I have changed because I didn't sabotage anything. I didn't self-sabotage anything. I didn't self-destruct, you know, or allow someone else to do the same. And I had boundaries and I set them and I stayed with them. And I'm proud of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge part of it. And to be able to do that for yourself is an amazing thing. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I feel very similar, and I feel the same. You know, getting back out there after everything that happened with my ex was one of the hardest things I had to do. And there was a point where I knew that I had started doing it too soon, and I had to take a step back and take a break and not worry about it, and then go back. And even then, it was still hard, just like normally, like some of the things you're talking about, where I talked to a lot of creeps before and a lot of weirdos.
And there'll still be more
and there will
to
still
come.
Always be more creeps.
Yeah.
But it took me being able to work on myself, set boundaries, heal, and then go back out there and do it again.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Yeah, dude.
Boom. Fist bump. For those.
So I'm really proud of you, though,
just
for
fist
doing
bumped.
this and for
Thank
doing
you.
the things that you're
I'm
doing.
proud of myself as well, and thank you. But that was my update. Thank you for saying so. I guess with that, you know, we're a little past an hour here. I think that is it. I hope everyone out there is doing equally as well, if not better. And thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. We won't see you next week, but probably the week after because it's quarantine and we don't have a lot going on.
Yeah. Stay home.
Stay home. Stay inside. Don't be an asshole. I love you. We love you very much. I love you all very much. This was the Last Word podcast. The podcast Apple didn't want you to hear.
Oh my
Haven't
God.
said that in a while.
It's been a long time.
I love you. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And we'll see you next time.
Later.